Will the House please come to order? Devotional exercises this morning will be led by singer John Galemore from Elmore.
My reason for being is music, and to reach a few hearts if I can. There's nothing that feels like the feeling of touching, and with the gift of a song I can try. There's a jewel in the heart of New England, where the music I live by is born. She's a simple, sweet tune for the asking, and she's home. For the love of Vermont, for the warmth of her hand, for the freedom she shares with the souls of the land, where the gentle belong and where to feel is to be strong. She's bestowed her song on us all. She tells you to follow what feels right, gives you reason to love what you are. She's allowed me to live by my music and my heart. Now the tunesmiths can sing there till their voices but whisper, and the poets can rhyme till the tides have no rhythm, and the potters can throw till the wheel of the world spins no more. For the love of Vermont, for the warmth of her hand, for the freedom she shares with the souls of the land, where the gentle belong and where to feel is to be strong. She's bestowed her song on us all. Now my words may be trite and a trifle old-fashioned from some antique century in time, but to me she's a long ago lady of pride and compassion, with elegant wrinkles I long to hold on to. She's a maid of an era the country's forgotten, save Vermont. For the love of Vermont, for the warmth of her hand, for the freedom she shares with the souls of the land, where the gentle belong and where to feel is to be strong. She's bestowed her song on us all.
Members, we have received requests to read two House concurrent resolutions that the House and Senate adopted pursuant to the consent calendar. The first is HCR 95, which is a House concurrent resolution congratulating the 2022 Green Mountain Council class of Eagle Scouts and the recipient of the Summit Award. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas, earning the Boy Scout rank of Eagle is a special honor which only 4% of Scouts achieve. And whereas an Eagle Scout is an individual who exhibits a strong commitment to service and perseveres to reach this challenging goal. And whereas the following Scout members of troops in the Green Mountain Council achieved Eagle rank during 2022, Dennis Adams, Thomas Andrews, Gavin Ashline, Paul Belkin, Morgan Barnes, Cameron Barney, Jackson Bennett, Toulouse Bergeron, Bradley Bishop, Alec Blevins, Landon Boardman, Keith Carrera, Richard Cosgrove, James Cusick, Callum DeBeer, Jonah Delaney, Russell Endries, Ryan Fisher, Cassidy Fleming, Trenton Fletcher, Matthew Fournier, Andrew Gold, Nathaniel Jacobs, Morgan Jones, Andrew Katchmar, Gavin Kowalvin, Grant LeClaire, Carolyn Lawrence, Charles Levine, Tyler Loisel, Luke Milkless, Sean Moran, William Moran, Cooper Niles, Ryan Norris, Lucas Phillips, Simon Pientka, Stuart Robinson, Michael Sargent, Joshua Sherman, Rory Stein, Tristan Stute, Logan Siddall, Logan Vaughn, and Porter Walbridge Jr. And whereas venturing is an outdoor activity Boy Scout program for young men and women, and the Summit Award is the top venturing rank. And whereas in 2022, a Venturing Crew 39 member, Catherine Lewis, proudly earned the Summit Award. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates the 2022 Green Mountain Council class of Eagle Scouts and the recipient of the Summit Award. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to each person honored in this resolution.
Next is HCR 98, which is House concurrent resolution congratulating the 2023 Vermont finalist for the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas, since 1983, the National Science Foundation, in collaboration with the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, has annually presented the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching for 2 teachers from each state and American jurisdiction who teach either science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. And whereas on a rotating basis, the eligible applicants are either elementary or, for the 2022-23 academic year, secondary teachers. And whereas a local committee of prominent science and technology teachers and researchers reviews the applicants and selects a minimum of 6 teachers. And whereas the factors considered include evidence of deep content knowledge, exemplary pedagogical skills, student assessment expertise, reflective teaching, and leadership that results in improved student learning. And whereas each jurisdictional awardee receives a $10,000 National Science Foundation Award and an all-expenses trip paid to Washington, D.C. for the award ceremony, recognition events, and professional development opportunities, at which a minimum of 2 national awardees per state or jurisdiction are named. And whereas in 2023, the fantastic Vermont teachers who earned the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching finalist status for math are Michelle Page from Brattleboro Union High School, Thomas Payer from Essex Center for Technology, and Brian Schwartz from Green Mountain Technology and Career Center. And for science are Randy Brown from U32, Alan Miller from Williston Central School, and Nicole Preser from Burr and Burton Academy. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates the 2023 Vermont finalists for the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to each teacher honored in this resolution.
Are there any announcements? Member from Worcester. Are there any announcements? Member from Milton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We all just heard the resolution honoring the Eagle Scout class of 2022. Unfortunately, we couldn't coordinate yesterday's events with them being here to get them recognized in the gallery. But nevertheless, a great event. They did a tour of the State House. We had a nice little mini press conference. The speakers spoke at it. Senator David Weeks spoke at it. One of the young ladies that was an Eagle recipient, Cassidy, spoke at it very eloquently. Great ceremony, great group of kiddos. Very proud of them, very proud of what they've accomplished for themselves and their communities in this state. And I'm a firm believer in that level of achievement for those young people is a direct nexus to success for them and for our state and for our country. So I think it's a very noteworthy achievement and that was done by them. Their day was capped off with a luncheon that myself and one of the other members from Milton attended over at the Capitol Plaza. So it was a great day for them, and I think a good day for Vermont. Thank you.
Are there any other announcements? Member from Worcester.
Madam Speaker, it's great to have John Galemore here in this room again to do a devotional. John and I are old friends. John is a constituent in my House district. He is a musician, a singer, a songwriter, and a recording artist, much known and beloved throughout the state of Vermont and beyond. Since the late 1970s, John has been performing in schools all over Vermont, and starting in the early 1980s, John has been going into schools to teach our students songwriting, how to write their own songs. And I know many, many people who have been influenced by having learned and been coached into writing songs by John. And in his spare time, when he's not doing any of that, John is also the town meeting moderator in Elmore. So I would like us to give another round of applause for John Galemore. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any further announcements? Member from Vergennes.
Thank you. All members make some life sacrifices to serve here under the Golden Dome. Each of us comes here from our home communities and neighborhoods to do this incredible, important work on behalf of all Vermonters. I could not be here if it was not for the enormous support of my family. I often miss them, even though I have busy days that fill my weeks. It is our loved ones who often make the biggest and quietest sacrifices in order for us to serve. I would like to introduce to you today some of my family visiting from Vergennes. They are who I return to after our busy session. Please welcome my husband, Jim, my daughter, Andrea, and my grandson, Sam, and they are seated in the balcony. Thank you.
Will the family of the member from, please rise and be recognized. Member from East Montpelier.
Madam Speaker, you just heard the reading of a resolution to commend 6 excellent Vermont teachers, including Randy Brown, who is a friend and a constituent in the town of Middlesex of mine, and he is here today to listen to the reading of the resolution. Randy is indeed an exceptional teacher, according to many, but including according to my 16-year-old, who has had the privilege of being in multiple classes with Randy. Randy is a very dedicated teacher. He's been at U32 for the last 25 years. He has a background from UVM in engineering and studied education at Harvard, and is providing inspiration and sharing his knowledge and love of science, physics, and computer science with students in our 5-town school district. His spouse, Stacy, is also here today. Stacy Brown has dedicated her career to supporting international community development and sustainable forest stewardship. Please help me welcome both Stacy and Randy, and congratulate Randy on this recognition of his excellence in teaching science. Thank you.
Will the guests of the member from East Montpelier please rise to be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hope the body will help me in welcoming my friend Jacoby Soder to the People's House. Jacoby is a freshman at BFA Fairfax who is interested in political science and has chosen to spend his last day of April break shadowing me here in the Capitol.
Will the guests and the family member from Fairfax please rise to be recognized? Member from Virgins.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce Keith Chatnover, along with his parents, Jonathan Chatnover and Elizabeth O'Connor. Keith is a recent graduate from Middlebury College. He lives in Middlebury, and he has been interning this session here following our work at the State House. I can honestly say he is truly one of Vermont's valuable assets, smart, hardworking, and after law school, we hope he returns to Vermont with an eye towards serving the state and our communities in some capacity in the future. He's seated in the upper gallery, and I request that the members please join me in welcoming to the State House.
Will the guests of the member from Virgins please rise to be recognized? Member from Berrytown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, today Representative Galfetti and I have two constituents from Berrytown in the audience. They have a very special connection to the State House. They are the husband and 8-year-old daughter of our hardworking Legislative Council staff member, Amron Abigili. Madam Speaker, please welcome Matthew Johnson, Amron's husband, and Merrick Johnson, her daughter, to the State House. They are seated in the balcony.
Will the guests of the member from Berrytown please rise to be recognized? Member from Burlington.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, today is one of my favorite days of the session because I get to welcome my daughter, Ruby, to the State House. She was here yesterday as well, but refused to be introduced. I missed the hand signals that had changed after she saw so many people standing up, and now would like to be introduced. So I'd like to introduce to the body, Ruby, my daughter, in the balcony, and she probably got a real joy of me playing the Groundhog game, standing up and down to try to get noticed. So welcome, Ruby.
Will the family member of the member from Burlington please rise to be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Manchester.
Madam Speaker, we have here with us today another finalist for the Presidential Award for the Excellence in the Teaching of Science, Dr. Nicole Preiser. And Madam Speaker, may I read from the letter of recommendation submitted on behalf of Dr. Preiser by the Burn Burton head of school?
You may.
And let me just a few quotes from here. Dr. Nicole Preiser, with us today, is passionate, brilliant, and highly professional. She is the strongest teacher many of our students have ever had and is an outstanding leader and mentor in the science department. Dr. Preiser is a profoundly dedicated teacher. She projects the forceful drive to support others' exploration and discovery. The commitment is contagious. Her students have been heard to echo her distaste for snow days since they reduced class time. From the beginning, her students do authentic science. They do not read about what others have discovered until they have first designed and run experiments to answer questions themselves. This is a powerful way to create a classroom community of scientific thinkers. Dr. Preiser's passion for her subject is manifest in every aspect of the curriculum, from the supplemental resources she creates online to the prize-winning physicists she brings to her class for interviews and consultations, to the precise, demanding organization of ideas. I'll skip ahead. Dr. Preiser exemplifies Burn Burton's mission. She is the model of a lifelong learner. Propelled by curiosity, she continually seeks opportunities to understand the universe more fully and to share that project with students and colleagues. To be in her class is to understand the urgency of intellectual inquiry. There is no time to waste. The universe is too full of mysteries. Despite her PhD, despite her expertise, she is extremely dedicated to her own professional development as a scientist, as an educator. She is a willing, supportive, collaborative, reflective colleague. She is a treasure, a tremendous asset to our teaching and learning community. So, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Representative Paella, Representative James, Representative Rice, Representative Chestnut Tangeman, and Representative Sibilia, all of whom represent towns that send students to Burton, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the State House to Dr. Nicole Preiser and her husband here not in the gallery, but downstairs with us today. So thank you.
Will the guests of the member from Manchester please rise to be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Georgia.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our schedule today seems to still be somewhat up in the air, so I would like to do History Friday right now before we enter our tasks for the day. Last week, we studied the painting downstairs of Alexander Twilight. And I want to talk about another painting this morning. It's the painting of a woman, Consuela Northrop Bailey. As we come out of the chamber here and turn to the left, if we were walking down to the Senate chamber, her painting is on the right. It's the very first painting that we come to in that Senate hallway before you get to the Senate. It's a lovely painting. She appears to be wearing judicial robes. And Consuela Northrop Bailey was born in Fairfield, Vermont, up in Franklin County. And in Franklin County, although she died in 1976, everyone still calls her by her first name, Consuela. So I'll refer to her as Consuela. So she was born in 1899, the daughter of Catherine Fletcher and Peter Brigham Northrop. Peter Northrop, her father, studied at Columbia Law School, but he decided to be a farmer instead of a lawyer. So he started farming in Fairfield and had some land over in Sheldon. And his venture grew into a very successful dairy farm, a creamery, and maple sugar works. He served in town offices and also himself was a member of the Vermont House of Representatives. Consuela, raised in Fairfield, attended elementary school in Sheldon, which seems a bit odd, doesn't it, the neighboring town, but I think because of where their farm was located, it was closer for her to go to school in Sheldon than it was in Fairfield. She went to high school in St. Albans and graduated from the University of Vermont with a Bachelor of Philosophy degree in 1921. And while attending school at UVM, she was admitted to the Phi Beta Kappa Academic Honor Society. She taught school for a number of years and then went to law school herself. So Consuela was a lawyer and a politician. She became the first woman to practice law in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. She was Vermont's first woman Speaker of the House and the first woman lieutenant governor in the United States. She was quite a lady. She had a lot of energy and absolutely dedicated to her town in Fairfield. And one thing that I've always liked about her, when she was lieutenant governor, the people in the state were quite impressed that a woman would achieve such a high rank. So this was in the 1920s, all right? And they expected her to run for re-election, and then perhaps it was talked about she might be running for governor, and then beyond that for Congress. But she surprised everyone when she only served one term as lieutenant governor and did not run again. Instead, she went home to care for her husband, who was quite sick at the time. He remained quite ill before he died. It was several years before he died. You know, I've always liked that about Consuela, that in spite of her own achievements, she was really significant for the time. She also, in addition to that, not instead of that, but in addition to that, felt the dedication to her family, to the farm, and to her community. And when Consuela died, she left a great deal of money to the town of Fairfield for a library. And if you travel to Fairfield today, you can drive by the library, you can go in. It's lovely in there, and the books are impressive. So that's Consuela Northrop Bailey. Be sure to walk by sometime on your free time today and take a look at her painting. It's really quite nice. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Newfane.
Madam Speaker, I have a guest here in the House today who's a constituent and friend of mine from the village of Williamsville in the town of Newfane, and who happens to live now and caretakes the land of the farm where my father grew up. Please welcome Kate Gehring, who's seated over in the gallery.
Will the guest, the member from Newfane, please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, orders of the day. Members, we will begin with Senate Bill 14, which is an act relating to a report on criminal justice-related investments and trends. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
S14, an act relating to a report on criminal justice-related investments and trends.
The question is, shall the bill pass in concurrence with proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have passed the bill in concurrence with proposal of amendment. Next is Senate Bill 91, which is an act relating to competency to stand trial and insanity as a defense prior to third reading. The member from Waterbury offers an amendment that is printed in today's calendar. Member from Waterbury.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The amendment is actually relatively simple. It looks a little bit longer than it really is. It can be found, as the Speaker said, in page 2236 of today's calendar. In the section of Section 7, individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities are often represented by the Disability Law Project at Vermont Legal Aid, and they were not included among the individuals who would be consulting on the report that's required here. And so they are being added. And then in Section 8, the House Human Services Committee is also being added to receive the report. That's it.
And for the committee, member from Williston.
Madam Speaker, your Judiciary Committee considered the amendment and voted 902 to find the amendment favorable. We ask for your support.
The question is, shall the House amend its proposal of amendment as offered by the member from Waterbury? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have amended the House proposal of amendment. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
S91, an act relating to competency to stand trial and insanity as a defense.
The question is, shall the bill pass in concurrence with proposal of amendment? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have passed the bill in concurrence with proposal of amendment. That completes our business for this morning. So members, at this time, we will recess and reconvene at 2:30 to address any needed bill referrals or any other action. So at this time, the House will stand in recess until the fall of the gavel at 2:30 p.m.